Hello everyone, I'm Krasia Tasio and this video will be about the year 2020 for the people with Sidereal Virgo Ascendant. Now Sidereal Virgo, it is according to the Sidereal astrology, like the Vedic astrology is Sidereal as well. But if you follow a Western tropical modern astrology, then you most probably recognize yourself as Libra Ascendant. If in this case, this video is for you. Tropical Western Modern Libra or Sidereal Astronomical Virgo Ascendant. Now, in this video, I will describe the most important celestial events which will take place in the coming year of 2020. We will see how supposedly these events will influence you. Now, what I consider important events. These are the most important transits of the heavy planet, like Saturn entering his own sign of Capricorn, Jupiter entering his own sign of Sagittarius, the conjunction between Pluto, Jupiter, Saturn. This is very important. I'm also taking into consideration the heliacal phases of the planets. What is this? It is when a planet was too near the sun, in the vicinity of the sun, then the planet is hiding in the rays of the sun, becomes invisible. And then there is this very powerful particular moment when the planet becomes visible. And according to the ancients, these were most important, most significant celestial events, which always result in events on Earth. So we will be looking at these events as well. Also important aspects to consider: retrograde, stationary planets. We can't look at everything, it's not possible, because then we'll have to make this video very, very long. But we also look at the eclipses. They are, of course, very, very important. We will mention them with a brief description. This year there will be 6 of them. Only one total solar, the rest will be partial eclipses. They are important. Not to worry about, but they are important. I don't advise the eclipses to be watched, but these are significant celestial events. So, also, before I continue, this is very general, because everyone's horoscope is unique. Only one and unique. So if you want a detailed analysis and description of how the year will look for you, then you may like to contact me for private consultation. So this is indeed general, but I hope to be useful, because the most important celestial events, of course, are important for each one of us. So let's start with the first one for Ascendant Sidereal Ascendant Virgo, Tropical Libra. So Saturn enters his own sign of Capricorn, and this is your 5th house. What is this meaning? End of January, Saturn is entering his sign of Capricorn, but he is entering Capricorn while invisible. Like I said, he is not visible. He's too near the sun, and therefore invisible until 1st of March. So this is to say, this period of 2 months, 30th of January, when he's entering Capricorn, until 1st of March, Saturn is invisible, but in his own sign. So already when entering Capricorn, of course, this is a very, very significant event, but could be that we don't really notice it, that we don't immediately experience it on Earth because of the invisible phase of the planet, but we may experience his influences once he becomes visible. Why this particular transit of Saturn is so very important? It is because it happens only once per 30 years, and he will be in his own sign for 2.5 years. So he will be in Capricorn for 2.5 years approximately. Another thing, he's a planet with superior significant powers and very high in the celestial hierarchies, because Saturn is on the highest position on the celestial spheres. He has also a very high hierarchy on the sky. He is the Lord of Karma, he is the Lord of Tears, he is the one who makes sure that the karmic lessons that we came for are being fulfilled, he's the one who brings justice. Like wherever he is, he brings justice into this particular house and place. Now, you can imagine literally how this is happening. Saturn is traveling all over the zodiac, but giving different influences according to his place, aspects he receives, he makes, phases, and so on and so on. But after his long travel, his long trip, finally he comes back home to see what was done, what was not done, and to regulate it, to fix it if needed, So, according to the particular phase and position of Saturn, we will receive what he comes to bring into his own house. Like, it depends very much in your natal chart, whether you're born in the day, whether you're born at night, whether Saturn is afflicted or not, what kind of aspects he makes, and so on and so on. It depends on many, many factors. But ideally, following the logic of the fifth house, he will bring justice into the fifth house. What is the fifth house for? The fifth house is the house of the good spirit. It is the house, the house of the good fortune. It is the house of the good luck. For example, if you had plans that were signified by the fifth house, if you wanted to receive knowledge of creativity or some lucky events to take place in your chart, in your life, then this might be the moment. Saturn becomes visible in March 2020. But again, what exactly he will bring depends on your chart. This is the house of children. This is the house of pleasure. This is the house of luck. This is the house of creative studies. This could bring amazing new knowledge of creativity, or it could be so that you shift completely to new creative studies or creative deeds, or could unlock talents that you had, could change totally your approach in relation to art, in relation to pleasure, could bring lucky money opportunities, finances. Once again, depends. If Saturn is badly placed, he could bring issues related to studies, possibly issues in the love life. But in any case, whatever he is meant to bring will be in relation to the fifth house. I still believe it will be good because the fifth house has a very good nature. It is the house of the good fortune. How also he will operate depends on our level of consciousness, on our approach towards discipline, moral values, time orientation. I can tell you for sure that Saturn hates lies and people who deviate from the truth. If we learn the lesson of sticking to the truth, understanding the term of justice, then we will not be afflicted by Saturn. So it's never late to change and to understand what is to distinguish good from bad, right from wrong. And this is all these qualities, they pertain to Saturn. And he comes to bring justice in relation to this. But as I say, the fifth house is the house of the good fortune. So I expect some very good influences of luck when he enters his house. And not only, but also when he becomes visible. So very important, another thing is Jupiter, who in November 2019 already entered your fourth house for people who have Virgo Ascendant. And this is brilliant. But once again, in December, he became invisible. And if you say, I don't feel blessing, I don't feel that he's blessing my home, I don't feel that Jupiter is blessing my work, this is because also he was invisible. But the good news is that on 30th of January, Jupiter becomes visible. And also this way you will start feeling his beautiful, beautiful blessing. He will be blessing your home. He will be blessing your relationship. He will be blessing your work environment. So it is all brilliant. And this is happening after 30th of January. Yes, 30th of January, because then he becomes visible. Watch the period around the 30th of January. It will be a beautiful period in your life. Now, this is another very important Another very, very significant event is that on 4th of February, Venus is entering your descendant. This is her exaltation point to bring you blessing, to fix your love life if needed, to just brilliantly to bless you and take care of you up until 1st of March. After that, she's entering your 8th house, where she will be more like in favor of helping the incomes of your partner, for example, but she will not directly influence your personality so much, but still she can be quite helpful on your 8th house as well, because she'll be respecting your 10th. She can be supportive to your career, but not so much because she's detriment in the 8th house. And after that, on 28th of March, she's entering Taurus, where very interesting events will be happening with Venus. I will explain you in a second what. But this is your 9th house. This is wonderful for lucky events, for travel abroad, for creating opportunities for communication. Once again, how this will manifest depends on your personal chart. And here we are having very, very important event with Venus, which was that actually, I'll tell you in a while about this. Let's follow the normal, it will be about her retrograde state, but I'll tell you in a second about this. Just not to forget some other important stuff. So on 20th of March, up for approximately a week, when we are having the conjunction of Mars, Jupiter, and Pluto in the sign of Sagittarius, this may bring a little bit of disharmonies for your work environment and home. This is a short period, but I'm telling you so that you're very diplomatic and careful. And then Mars is meeting Saturn on the 23rd of March, when Mars is exalted, Saturn is at home. So this can be interesting, can bring very interesting spiritual knowledge, desire to study hidden studies from the past, history, ancient studies. Also during this period, be a little bit attentive with children. And as I said, on 29th of March, Venus enters Taurus. April 4th and 5th, Pluto-Jupiter conjunction in also on your 4th house. So watch for these possible disharmonies that can follow up for your career and also at home. 15th of April, the Sun enters exaltation point, which can be very interesting, which can affect for good interest in secret studies, esoterics, spiritual awareness, uplifting your consciousness. Then Jupiter on the same moment enters Capricorn. And then we're having Jupiter, Saturn, Mars, Capricorn, all happening on your 5th house. During this period, be attentive with children, consecrate your efforts more towards studies, creating beauty and art. And then on, here comes the most important, interesting event, and this is the planets which turn retrograde, which will be approximately in the middle of May. Saturn stationary retrograde, Jupiter stationary retrograde, Venus stationary at retrograde. This will slow down all events on Earth. This will slow down events related to your work, events related to your studies possibly. If you have to do some exams, do it before that. Or involves some additional efforts. And then 30th of May until 16th of June, Venus is retrograde invisible in Taurus. When she becomes again visible in Taurus on 16th of June, very, very powerful. And then she will be, of course, direct. And this is a moment when I will use this particular appearance of Venus in her own sign. I will use for creation of powerful Venus talismans. So also link to my talismans you'll find under this video. And on the 28th of June, Jupiter enters back, goes retrograde, and comes back into his own sign of Sagittarius, which is good. And on the 17th of September, Jupiter is finally direct in Sagittarius to start helping you in your work environment, home environment, start fixing, helping you back to regain the normal track of your events, finances, luck. And on the 10th of October, Saturn finally becomes direct. Very good, because he must have slowed down many events, finance, work, love life. So now he will become direct, and this is very good. Things will start working as normal and helpful in relation to finances, love life, and everything. And another beautiful celestial events on 28th July, event that I've been waiting for such a long time. Mercury becomes visible in his own sign of Gemini. Wonderful event. Mercury is the planet of knowledge, hermetic knowledge, enlightenment, communication skills, money. And for you, Mercury is ruling your 10th house of career. So during this time, I'm going to make powerful Mercurian talismans. So as I say, you can see my talismans, also the ones that I make of Jupiter, because Jupiter is only now entering his own sign of Sagittarius. So the possibilities to make Jupiterian talismans are now in year 2020. You can see the link under this video. And I mentioned about Venus becoming visible 16th June. Use this for knowledge, for communication, negotiation, creating beauty, travel. This could bring beautiful results. And then on 18th of November until 12th of December, Venus is entering Libra to help you financially for good. And Mars becomes direct on your 7th house on 14th of November. Be a little bit cautious then, because this is your 7th house Pisces. Be cautious, be patient with people you love, be cautious with partners when making agreements, contractual relations. Be a little bit cautious not to get involved into risky situations. Also be cautious when traveling. The key date is 14th of November. And then on 25th of November, Jupiter is leaving your 4th house and entering your 5th house, Capricorn, to meet Saturn. This conjunction, Jupiter-Saturn, can be very lucky. They call it a royal conjunction. It could be about money. It could be very positive, depending on what are the options encoded into your natal chart. So the year looks very interesting for you, with 5th house Saturn, 4th house Jupiter can be very interesting influences directly or ascendant for good, and will certainly bring many events, most of them related to knowledge, creativity, creation of beauty, and also opportunities in relation to your private life. And let's see the most important eclipses. Actually, all of them, I will mention them so that you just know what to expect. Now, once again, let me repeat, eclipses are not appropriate to be watched, observed, even if they take place in your geographical territory. During the eclipses, the ancients would really contemplate, would do spiritual activities that they like. So on 10th, 11th of January, we are having the partial lunar eclipse, which is happening on the axis of your 10th, 4th houses, which would say that if your meridian is passing through this axis, could be that this affects a little bit your luck in relation to career. So for this period, like 3 months after the eclipse, could be that you feel not very, very lucky. But these influences you've been experiencing for quite some time, because such eclipses we had also in 2019 and 18. So it's not a big drama, just be very spiritual, remain very optimistic, because when we are happy events we invoke. And then on the 5th and 6th of June, the partial lunar eclipse will happen on the axis of Scorpio, Taurus, third, ninth house. Maybe a little bit the communication can be afflicted, relationship with people abroad. Then solar partial eclipse on 21st of June, again happening on your midheaven, which would say maybe midheaven, because the midheaven could be 9 and 11 houses, even 12, but this is happening on your 10th house, a little bit afflicting of your career. There you may need to be diplomatic and cautious. And then partial lunar is happening 4th, 5th of July on the axis of Sagittarius, Gemini, same axis, so keep in mind. 3 months after the first eclipse, be a little bit cautious. And then partial lunar happening 29, 30 November, Taurus, Scorpio, could be that again, communication, people abroad, trade is a little bit afflicted for a period of 3 months, because also on the 14th of December, your third house, Scorpio, is influenced by the total solar eclipse. So these were the main celestial events for people with Ascendant Virgo. I hope this is useful. Even though this is general, I think it is useful to know and to benefit from the knowledge of the most important celestial configurations. Thank you for your attention, and your comments are very welcome.